cricket world. Now the rule seems coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans. We can't keep going on like this. We can't keep going on like this. My name is Machel St. Patrick here at one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you as ever for joining us on this particular episode. We can't keep going on like this. Ever since we created the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, we've made it like our mission. It's like our vision, our mission statement that we promote West Indies cricket. Men's cricket, women's cricket, boys cricket, girls cricket, senior side, age group sides. We get interviews with all the key stakeholders and we try and keep the light burning, or the fire burning. We're trying to keep the lights on. But ladies and gents, you see this Super 50? I'm down horrid. After today's set of matches, I think I've had enough. I think I've had enough. How much more can I promote a product that sucks? Sucks real bad. Today's matches between Guyana Harpy Eagles and Barbados Pride and Jamaica Scorpions and Wimmera Islands Volcanoes was some of the worst, horrendous, bad cricket I think I've ever seen in West Indies cricket, West Indies domestic cricket. I watched both matches. I sat through both matches, and I'm not sure, beyond what Shafane Rutherford and Carl Mayers, who hit like some quick fire runs, Bonner grinded out a really strike rate was like probably 50 something. He grinded out a 70 odds. Obviously, people say things like Gudakesh Multi took a fifer. People will say that, but the standard of cricket in those two matches was horrendous. Horrendous. We're finished, fam. We're finished. Is this what we've got to pick from? Since I last recorded no less than 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, I recorded an episode and I said, okay, we'll take this as like 1 week into the tournament. 3 days later, and I've got to record something new. There have been 5 matches since the last time I recorded an episode on Super 50. I'm going to just read the scores to you. Get a pen and paper, write this down. Trinidad and Tobago played the Leeward Island Hurricanes. Leeward Island Hurricanes posted 198 all out in 37 overs. Trinidad chased that in 46 overs and lost 7 wickets in the process to win the match. Next day, CCC played Jamaica Scorpions. CCC put up 320 for 7 in 48 overs, which again, at the time, for those of you who were present in the live feed, because I was in the live chat whilst this match was going on, and I kept urging caution because there were loads of people in the chat going, this shows that the youngsters are really good and we've got some really exciting talent coming through. And I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying there isn't the 1 or 2 bright sparks here and there. But the reason why I was urging caution is because Jamaica Scorpions have been horrific in this tournament. Against everybody they've played, they've been absolutely horrific. And against CCC, it was no exception. These men bowled like they were trying to get back to Kingston ASAP. Like they didn't want to be in Trinidad and everybody wants to go home. So I urged caution. I said, listen, let's not go over the top here. When Jamaica replied against CCC, they were bowled out for 198 in 32 overs. Dunce and Bolsey. Fully Dunce and Bolsey. Next match. Trinidad and Tobago played the West Indies Academy. West Indies Academy posted 263 for 8 in their 50 overs. Trinidad and Tobago chased that in 49 overs, losing 6 wickets in the process. let's call that one an even game. But like I say again, 260s, that's nothing to write home about. Today, Guyana versus Barbados Pride. Guyana were bowled out for 202 in 47 overs. Barbados Pride at one point were 80 without loss. They were bowled out for 146 in 40 overs. And then the coup de grace, the stink bad and down rotten Jamaica Scorpions were bowled out for 158 in 43 overs. Windward Island Volcanoes chased it down, but lost 6 wickets in the process, chasing down the 159 to win in 37 overs. We are down horrendous. This tournament sucks. And the thing is, I'm not even saying that to like be controversial or get some clickbait or anything like that. You've just got to call it as you see it. This tournament is dreadful. The quality is awful. The matches are down bad. You've got an ODI World Cup going on right now where it's the creme de la creme of world cricket, right? And yeah, England, for example, are down rotten, right? But it's still the creme de la creme of world cricket. Meanwhile, we've got what's supposed to be the creme de la creme of our domestic List A cricket, and the matches are horrific to watch. They're horrible on the eye. Like, you're watching them and you're just shaking your head thinking, this is rubbish. It's rubbish, fam. It's horrible. So this isn't supposed to be like a big video where I go into a major analysis. Because as I was watching like the 2 games unfold today, I wrote down some key questions that I want everybody to get in the comments below and answer. If you're a Facebook person, reply on Facebook. If you're a YouTube person, get in the comments below and reply. If you're an Insta person, reply when I clip whatever part of this video I clip and put on Insta. If you're I hate this guy. This guy gets my nerves. He thinks he knows everything person. Send it into your WhatsApp groups and say, he's got a point though with this. Here's my questions, people. Just answer these questions for me, because this tournament's still got another like 13, 14 days to go. Tomorrow, thank God, is a rest day. No cricket tomorrow. I don't have to pay attention. But these are my questions. How many batters in the region can bat 50 balls and score runs on a regular basis? The key and operative word there being regular. How many batters in the region can face 50 balls or more and score runs and do it on a regular basis? Please get in the comments below and answer that question for me. That's question 1. Question 2. When the decision was made to hold Super 50 just in Trinidad, was any consideration put into the quality of the pitches in Trinidad? So whether that be at UWE, whether that be at Queen's Park Oval, where it looks like a full FET tournament was held on the Queen's Park Oval before the tournament even started. People are telling me there was a hockey tournament on there. People are telling me a FET was held on there. People are telling me a football match was held on there. All I see at Queen's Park Oval is sand on the pitch to blouse and skirt. So we got UWE, Queen's Park Oval, which looks atrocious. UWE, the grass looks like it's not even being cut. And then we got Brian Lara Cricket Academy, which is probably all right, to be fair, right? How much due diligence was done prior to the start of the tournament to check how true the pitches were? I'm not blaming it on the pitches alone, because I still think a lot of these players are shit, right? But so I'm not going to just blame it on the pitches alone. But when you are seeing teams, remember what I just said, Leeward Island Hurricanes, 198 bowled out, 37 overs. Trinidad chasing it down in 46 overs. Windward Island Volcanoes chasing down 159 to win in 38 overs, losing 6 wickets. Guyana only making 202 in 47 overs. Barbados only making 146 in 40 overs. Like, what's going on? Was any due diligence done into the curation of the pitches, or was it just a case of we're going to host it at these grounds, there's pitches there, we'll do bits and pieces to get it ready, it'll be all right? These pitches are not conducive to high scoring games. That's not to excuse the batters, because a good batter would still find a way to adapt, right? Which is why in Guyana's game today, yes, they only made 202, but Shafane Rutherford was able to make 70 of them. Barbados were bowled out for 146 today, but Kyle Mayers was able to make 63 or 64 of them. Jamaica Scorpions were bowled out for 158 today, but Nkrumah Bonner was able to make 70 something of them, right? So my argument will always be good batters can adapt to whatever the conditions are. But the norm in this tournament is the pitches look dreadful and the batters can't bat. So what due diligence was done prior to this tournament? And if due diligence was done, and if there were concerns about the quality of the pitches, whether at UE, Brian Lara Cricket Academy or Queen's Park Oval, why did Trinidad get the tournament? Like, I just need some answers about this, because how can you possibly hope to develop international quality cricketers, however shit they are? How can you hope to develop them when they're not being given the best conditions to develop in? Answer that question for me. Question 3. Do our players on a whole have the requisite mental and physical fitness to compete? I was about to say at the highest level. Let's just call it what we're actually watching at the moment. Do they have the requisite mental and physical fitness to compete at the top end of the domestic level? And when I say mental fitness, I mean being switched on in a game, and well, just not switching off. So not after a drinks break, immediately getting out. Not after facing 25 balls, losing concentration. Not after 3 balls being bowled where your captain told it to bowl, do you then spray one wide down the leg side because mentally you've zoned out of the game? Do they have the mental and physical fitness required for the top end of whatever this domestic level is supposed to be? Next question. How come 6 of the top 7 bowlers in the tournament so far are spinners? And within those 6, in fact, let me read it because Santoki tweeted it for everyone earlier on. Let me get the names. Yannick Carrier, Daniel Dorham, Sunil Narayan, Hayden Walsh Jr., Abhijay Mansingh, Gudakesh Moti. This was prior to the end of the Jamaica Women's Islands Volcanoes match, right? 6 of the top 7 wicket takers in this tournament are spinners. How many of those spinners would you say are top class internationals? That's not to say they're not good players. That's not my point. But are we allowing spinners to dominate? Sorry, so let me start again. Are those spinners good? Obviously, Sunil Narayan, we know about him. Are those spinners good, or are our batters poor? Does it skew? Are our figures skewed because people can't bat properly? Answer that question in the comments below. Next question. Based on what you've seen so far in this tournament, who is genuinely worth persisting with? When we talk about international cricket, who have you genuinely seen in this tournament that you can say, yeah, let me put all my chips in. I'm betting on that guy. It's worth going with that guy. Who have you genuinely seen in this tournament that you think belongs at the international stage? Because, and my thing is this, if you're an international cricketer, when you come to domestic cricket, you're supposed to beat up all of the domestic cricketers, whether with the bat or with the ball. So Yannick Carrier is supposed to be an international cricketer for the West Indies. He's the top wicket taker in the tournament. Fine. Whether Yannick Carrier is that good, I don't know. But at least he's doing what he's supposed to be doing because he's a West Indies international. Kyle Mayers is a West Indies international. He scored 107 in one innings and he scored a quick fire 64 today. He's beating up on domestic bowlers because that's what you're supposed to do. But how many of our international players have done that? How many of our international players have come back to the domestic level and look just as mediocre as all the other domestic guys. So who are you betting on, people? Which players are you willing to go all in on? Which players do you look at and go, yeah, I think you can rise to the challenge? Next question. Do the players care? Do the players even give a shit about this tournament? Because some of the body language I've seen suggests to me that some people are going through the motions. Or is it because the games are so quick? They're like, there's like, you're basically playing every 2 days in most cases. Is it that they don't have, again, it goes back to my earlier question, is it that they don't have the requisite mental and physical fitness to adapt to a tournament that is so quick, that where the turnaround is so quick? Is it that? Maybe it's that instead. Or do the players even care? Because some of them, and big up Medvis who tweeted us this earlier today, time of recording, some of them look like they don't want to be there and that they're just going through the motions. I could be wrong. Put it to you, the audience. Do you think the players even care? Do you think some of them don't? Or rather, let me rephrase that. Do you think some of them don't care? Do you think they're there, but they're not really there? Answer in the comments below. And final question. Big song and dance was made about how there was bonus points this year. I alluded to this in the previous video. How there were bonus points this year. There were incentives for run-outs, incentives for less than 50% of your innings being less than 50% of your innings being dot balls. Incentives for wickets in the power play, incentives for runs in the power play, incentives for centuries, incentives for fifers, all of that. There was a big song and dance made about how the money was increasing for the winners and runners up in the domestic competitions. But this is what I say to everyone, and this is what I was worried about when these announcements were made. And let me just clarify, I am in favor of these announcements, but not too dissimilar to when the Professional Cricket League was introduced by Richard Pybus and Criminal Cameron. When that was introduced and more domestic players in the Caribbean were now getting professional wages to play cricket, the concern that myself and some other kind of, let's say, journalists, commentators around the region that we had was, all you're doing is giving average players a full-time wage. It won't necessarily make them any better because they're just average. Now I'm looking at this tournament and I'm thinking, yes, the incentives are the right thing to do. Yes, the bonus points are the right thing to do. Yes, increasing the prize money is probably the right thing to do. But is the ceiling of too many of our players basically already reached? Like they can't go any higher. It don't matter if you give them more money. It don't matter if there's bonus points, incentives. They physically cannot go beyond. They've already reached whatever that domestic ceiling is. They've already reached it, which goes back to question 5. Who is worth persisting with? West Indies have an A-team tour to South Africa coming up in the next month, right? The squad should be announced relatively soon. Who have you seen in this tournament? I know the squad, it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be a red ball series, but I don't know if there's some white ball cricket involved as well. But who have you seen in this tournament that you feel is worth investing in? Because let's be honest, people, if I said to you right now, just based on Super 50, so take Jason Holder out of it, take Nicholas Puran out of it because they're not in the tournament this year, right? Just based on what you've seen in Super 50, pick an 18-man squad based on Super 50 performances. And here's my thing. I don't think you can pick an 18-man squad. And when I say you can't pick an 18-man squad, I mean, I don't think you can pick an 18-man squad that can compete and rise to the challenge at the international level. I think you can get to 13 and then you're guessing with another 5. Maybe I'm overreacting, people. Maybe it's just a response to the down bad cricket that I saw today. But based on what I've seen thus far in Super 50, and if ODI cricket is going to survive in the future, I am seriously worried about our production line. I said at the start of the tournament, when Santoki and I did the tournament preview, we said the only teams really worth watching this tournament are probably West Indies Academy and CCC, because at least you've got some young, hungry players in that tournament. And that's probably the pool that we need to be thinking about. But that doesn't mean that we should ignore Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad. But when I pay attention to them, I'm not seeing anything that gets me excited for the future. Am I overreacting, people? Or are you seeing it how I'm seeing it? My name is Machel St. Patrick here at one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Hopefully, if you've been watching, you can see on the ticker tape below where to go find us at Carib Cricket, Twitter, Instagram. Like, share, subscribe. You know the jazz by now. We're very close to 6K. Let's try to get over that line. If you want to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. Any little bit helps. If you're listening on an audio podcast, review, leave a review and a rating, because it really helps the podcast grow. I'll be Machel St. Patrick here on half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you and good night.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rule seems coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.